Well. Hello and happy October. Well, this is Oleg with you and our channel QS Angliski. So we are here today to talk about the difference between slow snail ways to get you started with English and the faster ways that have been proven for a long time. Of my experience, in order to bring you able to speak English correctly, and it's not going to take you a long time. Well, quite recently, I've had a little discussion in my Facebook regarding the matter of use uh, my methods. My methods they give birth to doubts in your head sometimes. Well, sometimes people are very skeptical about the way all brought people are brought to speaking some decent English for a short period of time in a short period of time. Well, and it makes it rather complicated to argue rather than just get started and do it teach you do it in a short while. Well, what I'm talking about is we all of us are used to studying slowly. I'm trying just to make it slow so that you understand, so that you can understand everything I'm talking about. It's just speaking slow, studying slow. We go to school, we send our children to school, and well, another year has passed. Well, and what have we seen so far? Well, by now, school does its work. Well, school still teaches our kids speak something different from what actually English is. Well, and we are all concerned about it because we are not indifferent towards our children and so on and so forth. We send them to school in order to learn, but we should send them to school in order to get some positive results. And the positive progress, it's not necessarily going to appear just in a matter of time. Whereas I'm talking about some ways that are maybe contagious in terms of procedure as they do. Well, all things they ever say and repeat, well, just some things they ever start doing due to their teachers. Well, they tell them what to do, and sometimes it's successful, sometimes it's not. And that first, sometimes I have mentioned, is rather not frequent in terms of what we can see outside. And the concept QS Angliskizik is dedicated to bring one to start speaking rapidly, to start speaking in a very short while. Just at the at the very first step, we come to understand the way English mentality compounds act. Actually, will we just upon what English actually is, we can judge on the books well we happen to buy sometimes in the bookstore, and we open that book and we can see a lot of pages and a lot of constructions. Well, they are all explained differently, but they all have all the principal mistakes. I'm not saying errors because well they happen to sometimes admit it typo. For instance, well, I'm also sinful in this regard. Well, and I sometimes make typos, but in the principal logic of English mentality, I never make mistakes. And what I actually do, what I have been doing for the recent 25 years, I have been teaching you get rid of mistakes, just the principal mistakes that are peculiar to Russian only. And we are skillful enough just living in this world, and we have been living for such an extended period of time to understand what logic actually is. And that logic, everyone has that logic, and in order to turn it into some decent speech, when you've got something to say, you will be able to say that. But people sometimes make Russian mistakes. It's like just um, mm, we can say I'm sure in it instead of I'm sure about it. Well, just like that. You see the typology, comparative typology of the two languages. It contains basic points of growth. At the starting points, um, and we come up to that checkpoint, and we say, well, it's not actually necessary to be in your friends, inside your friends, in order to understand that you are sure in your friends. No, you are sure about your friends because you know your friends from every side. You have known them for a long period of time. Well, and this is it. This is the difference. Well, the logic of speaking English is more frequently understandable than not. Well, and it's very close to science. It's very close to the physics. That's our satellite. That's going in step with us, with our lives, and every step we make, we actually um, don't get too much into details. Well, we don't get too deep into some minor things that are actually the differences between the two languages. And when coming to my class, any student will see the difference, just the basic differences. Because if I speak about the whole difference stuff in the whole language, if I start with idiomatic phrases and idioms, well, idioms, we are all too much dependent on some minor points, well, but the common look at the language, it's where we sometimes are running a lack of um, patience in order to just to gradually make it detailed, a detailed version of what we can actually understand as what language is, what language actually is. Language is a program code that has its certain peculiarities, its certain features that we can't miss in order to communicate comfortably to native speakers when we are on a tour in an English speaking country or somewhere outside that country where people still speak English and they communicate by means of English with tourists and so on and so forth. And in some probably some points that we are concerned about is also a business. Well, we, for instance, we can set a date, we can set an appointment, to meet some people, and I say, I will come at 7. Well, we can say, I will have come by 7. Or we can say, I'm coming by 7. Well, there are many ways to say the same things that are actually they are mm, just acting the same way in Russian, but we have some certain ways to say that. And English, well, the English, the Americans, the Canadians, they have the same principles of using the English language. It's grammar. And it's grammar and their logic of mentality, their logic of attitude to the world and treating the world, treating people, treating others, and treating the things they are doing currently or they do or they have done so far. Well, they all express exactly the thought that has to be spoken up. Well, and this is this is what we are trying to achieve at our lessons. Well, some people their attitude to fast education, to rapid education ways, they have a negative attitude to it. Uh, by the way, whereas we have some. maybe different approaches with these people, but they are trying to prove something possible, to prove something to be possible, and which is possible is the most efficient. Well, out of that possible, there is something even more efficiently working for your success than what we actually find, and we have found something new and we say, oh, it's the best one. Well, I'm trying to reach the results these people have reached, and I will certainly do it like that. But they have different mentality. Nobody's going to explain to you what it's like, or what it should be treated like. Well, they say there are phrasal verbs instead of explaining how to work with the prepositions, how they position themselves in the English language. Well, and they place preposition up to the verb. They get them stuck together, and they say that that system is the word is got, or in English they say to search for, to look for. What are you doing, sir? I'm looking for. Are you looking for something? It's funny. Well, what are you looking for? Oh, just look in the pocket. We can. It's not necessarily we should use the preposition for, whereas the item we are currently looking for is not used. There is no item. There is no preposition, and we say about we just speak up our using our eyes. Just visually, we say something. uh, we are looking. Looking for what? You're looking at what? Just the same verb to look. It's just the same verb to listen. Well, listen to me. Oh, they say, listen me. Well, listen me. Прислушайся меня. Well, how can it be? And we can say прислушайся ко мне because there is no verb identical to our Russian слушать кого-то. This, in other words, we have just the verb прислушиваться, and the preposition to instantly finds itself as just the most necessary element of this construction. This is it. Well, so the differences, we come to getting to know the differences very quickly, just very soon, shortly, just in a very brief point um, while. So there are some things that are not considered at all sometimes. They say, oh, we'll learn grammar forever. Grammar, it should be learned, it should be gotten to know only during the first steps. We get to know something, and then we get used to it. And instead of getting used to the constructions they have loaded up into your head, they start adding newer constructions without actually explaining the basics that make English some flexible means of communication. Well, instead of flexibility, they give you just a quantity of some stuff. Well, they give you a lot of construction that you have to learn, and what you actually have to do with them is learn them, learn, and without asking yourself why. Why do I have to learn this or that, and why? What's the usability of that thing or that a particular subject we are currently running? Well, they use a lot of things. Well, just that actually spreads your attention into minor parts, and you don't have an opportunity to somehow put a full stop in your education, and it seems to be forever sometimes. What I actually do at my lessons, I invite you. I say, I will tell you in Russian how it works. So basically, there are three things we should consider. Yes, hi, and this is Svetlana Kotun here. And yes, thank you for the comment. I will continue. It's just not going to be a long time because I'm having a lesson soon. But I am thankful, I'm grateful to you for sometimes watching these videos of mine. And I can't feel otherwise because, well, I'm actually grateful to those of you who come and see what's going on and who have no time, actually, who are busy at the moment. They will have a chance to see it afterward. So because the video, it remains available, it remains, well, it's going to be here in stock and availability and complete access to everybody. I don't close anything here at this channel. Well, besides, one lady told me yesterday it was impossible to learn anything in 10 lessons. What do they compare it to with the regular school education? Well, what does secondary school do actually? I don't mean in even high school, even some higher education provided in some particular universities and institutes. Well, they provide it with their curriculums, and their curriculums are so wide, but they don't have the basic. It's just a lot of stuff, but they actually don't consider the skills they finally get. Oh, they um, they don't raise up the level they initially chase as something they are going to reach someday. Well, they don't uh, put it high enough. They don't set it high enough. Well, and what I consider my job is to be directed to is actually um, get the highest point possible of the level we are trying to reach. And anyways, even if we achieve half that level, you will be able to pass that exam. You will be able to take any other exams in your life because life is the best investigator at your examination. Because life is the best investigator, of course. Because life checks it out, or life puts you in certain situations where you uh, either win or lose. Uh, what I teach you to do is not to lose, actually. And indeed, English is a rather logical means of communication. One can't pass by as soon as he dives once into that logic. Well, he will not be able to leave it because it's it's not difficult to say thanks when you know what to say. Well, with my experience of 25 years, I've been teaching Russians to speak decent English. I can tell you that there is a lot of profanation here. It's actually you can come across it every step of your way. You open the same blog, you open the same page with advertising, and they say, well, 3,000 words in 1 month, and so on and so forth. Well, what kind of constructions are these words gonna be used in? Have you ever asked yourself, well, uh, what's gonna be, what's gonna happen to a man uh, if he is disassembled? Just if my arm lies peacefully on the table, will it move or not with no brain? So everywhere, everything new we ever get to know, it should be it should be somehow achieved based on the points of logic. There is no logic, there is no way. No logic, no way. Just as simple as that. Well, and that logic should be understandable. That logic should be not as well. My student has come to me and I say, well, today we are studying present perfect. Today we are studying present continuous, past perfect. And in one of my articles recently, I have stressed the points of non-existing present perfect, past perfect, or future perfect. Uh, perfect is a participle. Actually, it's the third form of the verb, and it doesn't show the timeline. Uh, it doesn't show any slider on the timeline. It it shows nothing but a packed suitcase. You can see, well, and somebody comes up to you and says, "Well, where is that suitcase?" I say, "It's in my room." No, no, no. I mean, in terms of time, where is that suitcase? In the present, of course. Yes, that's right. But when you say the word leather or uh, fabric or paper, black and white, red and yellow, and big and long and large, the logic is somewhere at large. Well, where is that in terms of time? Well, nowhere. I say nowhere because, well, wherever we observe the logic of participles, participles never exist on the timeline themselves. They never show the indicator of time. They don't identify whether it's present, past, or the future. It's not going to identify it ever in its pure existence. Well, you see, there is no way to say that black is the past or the present or the future. Uh, will be, was, and is. Uh, will show where it is because itself. Well, the word black. Well, I've got a black phone. A black phone. Where is it? It's in my hand. No, no, no. In terms of time, yes, it's in the present. Okay. And whereas we take the particular word black, where is black? Black, are you here? Black is my cat. Black is in the neighboring rooms, just in the room, adjacent, somewhere at large in this apartment. um, and Black never comes when I call him, only when he's hungry or so. But Black is someone. Actually, it's a he cat. I've got, yes, a member of a family. But the word black itself, or the word long itself, the word short, the word large, the word brief, well, it doesn't have any particular belonging to any period of time or any point, any time point. That's what it is now. Well, I'm talking about rapid education because it should be rapid. English grammar is so um, minimized for years because it used to be ancient. Now, in the contemporary language, we don't have more than three endings for the verb. We can say ing goes for progress, ed goes for the second form, which is actually an event. Well, I did what? I went there. I did what? I saw these people. Well, I will see. Oh, I see. I understand. Well, I can see right now. I see every day. So when well, considering events, we know we should never speak about the third form of the English verb. Since when I'm speaking about it, we we will make that particular mistake that's actually made. That they consider it the same verb, but no, it's participle. It's a participant in some action or event or maybe a state or maybe having something. It's a participle. It takes part in it, but it doesn't itself identify the time. So same as we can say the same things about continuous or progressive as it's called, frequently called it this name. Well, doing, doing. What time is it? What time is it? It's 10 minutes after two. Doing. What time is it? Time is one. What tense is it? No, it's no tense at all. Tenses they continue. Tenses they go on. Tenses they can move into the future, into the past. Well, but speaking about that, where uh, do it's okay. Do comes to be did or will do, but doing is nowhere in time. Doing is like black and white, same as done. Well, same as produced as the third form, of course, because produced in the past is okay for the second form. Well, what I actually want to say that any grammar book you take, you'll find some incompatibilities with our common logic, our common sense that we have gotten used to. Uh, this thing is that we should understand, we should realize any particular detail of every construction we ever come across. If you don't do that, it's no matter. It actually doesn't matter, regardless whatever the number of movies you have seen. Uh, you may just approximate some level of speaker, of course. Maybe it's enough for you. Maybe I don't know. But in order to achieve some presentability, in order to achieve some acceptance in the English circles, well, in American circles or English circles, whatever we are talking about. Because situations may be different. There are administrative relationships when you come to the bank and say, I would like to open an account in this bank. Well, it's as simple as that. I would like. Well, if they ask you why didn't you do it yesterday, because you were assigned an appointment yesterday and that particular clerk was waiting for you yesterday at 5, and why didn't you come at 5? I say, oh, I would have come, but I failed to. As simple as that. And they say, I would come in the future. They understandable in the future. It's only treated as the future. I would do in the future. I would have done in the past. Well, in this particular case, you should say, I would have come, but I failed to due to something uh, unexpected, due to something I hadn't anticipated to happen. Well, just like that. So what I actually want to say that there are many skepticals. There is a lot of skepticism. Sorry, there are many skeptically set people. Well, they have that skepsis. They come to that area and say, "Well, I don't believe it." Well, but why didn't you? Why did you come here? Well, you want my arguments. Just you want some uh, points to get it all proven. No, uh, it's easier for me to teach you speak that language than to ever explain to you how it works, because I can explain to you. Sometimes we are speaking at the same frequency. Sometimes the frequencies are different. Well, you say no. Language is the words. Some people say. Well, 80% of the language is words. Well, I will agree, but the language as an architecture, you treat it as an architecture. You should be an architect. You know how to build. Okay, you are an architect. You don't have to possess all the materials. You don't have to go for logistics and anything. Well, you know how to do it. You know the technology, and the technology itself is a language. It's not just words that you organize in that order. You have gotten used to it in the native language, in your mother tongue, and there is a difference you should understand, some certain difference, and that difference is only gotten to know in comparison. Well, some people say, well, I will go to a native speaker and he's gonna teach me speaking. Okay, they they come and go because they feel it boring. They don't have anything in common to talk about, because one does speak English and the other one doesn't. Because that one who actually is a native speaker, he doesn't know what kind of improvisation in the mother tongue that particular students used to have before coming to him. And this is what I'm talking about. Whenever you have taken a decision to learn, don't ask yourself, why is it possible or not? Well, I don't believe in this rapid way of getting to the communication level, getting up there. No, first of all, I should be the beginner and then I should be upper intermediate. No, Prior to it, I should be intermediate and under intermediate. Yeah, maybe, but those levels, they were actually designed in order to deceive your um, initial understanding, because we understand how to drive a car. How long did you learn to do that? What number of hours did you spend in the ground? I mean, just in that playground where you used to drive right and left or reverse, or just to use the transmission box on the level of your intuition. How long did you spend using that, all that stuff? Well, it's much more difficult than speaking English, because speaking English, it contains not so many constructions as you should keep under control when driving a car down the street. You can see a lot of gauges in front of you, the array of gauges. You know what ignition key actually is, and you drive that car. You start the engine and you drive. You control. You keep everything under control. At the same time, you don't forget to speak on the cell phone sometimes. And some ladies even find some time to use their lipstick and just to put on their makeup or anything else, just to care about to care of their nails. Uh, what do you do actually to keep it under control? Just nothing. You use the experience, the technology, and you know that you put the transmission box at the rear. I mean, at the reverse. The car is gonna move back. You will never do it when you are trying to move on. Same as you will never use in English. I would have done instead of I would do. Just a minute. I get the key to my wife. So this is it. Maybe you have some particular questions. I love you, Blackie. I was yeah. She knows my cat. They are acquainted somehow. Well, and he actually expresses his interest toward the studying. So, well, somebody new appears in this computer. My cat is always all ears. Well, he is first looking at that person, just the way he or she communicates. Well, he or she interacts with me in order to achieve some certain result, and and he, well, when he understands it all, and he is gone. So black is a cat, but black is also a color. It doesn't exist. It doesn't. Not it doesn't exist because I'm wearing it. Well, and black is actually a quality. Quality itself doesn't indicate the period of time, whether it's whether it's relative to the present or to the past or to the future. Whatever you are trying to say is achievable, and it's just a matter of a few lessons. Whatever they say, well, they say, well, yesterday I published an article about how to learn reading with no dictionary. Why do you need a dictionary when reading a book in Russian? Because you are used to it. Someday you started, and gradually, step by step, with no Chinese, with no Japanese, with no Spanish or English, you started reading, and you can never stop, because at least you are reading some information at the website or somewhere at large, just all over the world. Where the world is full of information. You read it. You read it without translating it into a different language. But if I say that in 10 lessons you will be able to read books with no dictionary, especially those thrillers, and the choice of the book is very, very important. It's significant. It's sometimes vital and crucial. If you take a wrong book, it's gonna break you down, so that you will not start reading anymore, just only because of the wrong choice. But once you have captured that information in one book, you will be able to go on, and the level is very important. But we don't give it at any certain name. The beginner, no. Books are not written for beginners. Books are not written for intermediates or advanced or any proficiency level owners. Books are written for readers to get the information the author initially encoded into that particular code of words. And that sequence of words gets you closer to the pictures you can actually connect, and the pictures themselves and the events running through a mind during reading. They should be what you are trying to achieve when learning to read. Why do you need to learn the language in order to read books? Yes, you will learn the language, but you will not study the language the way I do when my 50 lesson course is concerned, is ever mentioned. Well, regardless of that course, well, whatever, I need your desire to learn reading. And you're gonna be successful in 10 lessons. What if I don't? What if you don't? That means that you didn't want. Because it has been proven by many students. Just the one who started and goes on and has time to go on, he will go on and he will do it with no dictionary. Because I even used a screenshot out of my WhatsApp where, well, a man from St. Petersburg, he let me know, he just let me know that he had read another book, his second book, and he didn't learn as much with me. He didn't study English as I normally do. I do teach. So it's all as simple as that. It's just the number of simple principles we shouldn't break. Just the simple rules we shouldn't break. And everything in English is simple. I am, I was, I will be. I have, I had, I will have. I do, I did, I will do. I see, I saw, I will see, and so on and so forth. These are real time events. Well, they only have this little, just actuality number one, actuality number two, and actuality number one lit up by what we consider to be the modal verb, will. Will. It's like a flashlight that we turn it on, and the event in the present comes to be the event in the future. That's the difference. As simple as that. Yes, and hello, Tatyana, as well. Uh, I can tell you that Tatyana, though, well, maybe she doesn't speak rapidly, but we had very rare lessons. But I can tell you, I pride myself about the fact that she can read books. She can read books with no dictionary. She can. Maybe she doesn't trust that method, but whenever I say, well, whatever happens, don't stop. Don't open a dictionary. Just put the dictionary up onto the upper shelf in order to forget about it for a while. Just get yourself into what's going on in the book. And you will be a satellite of the main character. You will be the witness of what's happening there, and you will not be injured by those explosions or shootings or in that detective story. It's absolutely safe. So if I say that in 10 lessons you will be able to do it, then it should be like this. I have no idols in this education because there are a lot of people who um, bring their students just there to be a little adapted to what we can see on the surface, but they don't have the roots. That English on while of non-use, without being used, it's going to be forgotten anyways. Well, that's why we should use either the environment of communication where you are accepted as a speaker, as a rightful, eligible part of the conversation. Uh, Nobody's going to hate you there for being those unclear, for being non-understandable, for being vague or something blurred in your mind that you're trying to express. So there is a difference. There is a difference, and the difference is going to be clear to you at the very first step out. 15 steps. So it's up to you to decide whether it should be yours or not, whether English should be yours or not. Um, it's very simple, actually very simple. And when you don't have these paper brick borders ahead of you, you should break it. That's not real. It's all false. Well, those bars ahead of you on the way, they are all a fruit of someone's imagination. Now, some people have started thinking and speaking aloud about the bars, how many bars are there, and you will not go about without my help, without my assistance, and without my complete and constant guidance. Well, I'm not going to guide you forever. Uh, my guidance will gradually be minimized, and at the very last step, you will be able to speak it because your experience is growing as long as my guidance is gradually being reduced. Okay, I should be going now. Thank you so much for watching this video, and thanks for your likes and shares. Well, I can see a couple of likes. Well, I'm endlessly grateful to those people who put on that like. Thank you for your assessment. And I'll be back just as soon as I can. You know, I have a lot of classes these days, and if you have made up your mind to join, welcome. This is forever, and this is English you will never forget. Thank you. It's been Oleg with you, and ciao, QS английский язык. Спасибо.